Good Thursday evening, everybody. Coming up on 10 o'clock right now. Hope you're having a great day so far. We've got a lot to track right now, including the tropics, which are beginning to get a lot more active. In fact, we've got a new area to watch here that is in the Gulf, and I want to get right to that. Plus, take a look at the major cool down coming our way, along with a good soaking rain. It's been 12 days since we've had widespread rain. Of course, many of you had some storms today. Some of you did not. So after 15 days of dry weather for a lot of us, we're going to get a good soaking rain. But first, I want to show you the Europeans' forecast for what could be a Gulf system within the next 6 days. This would be next Tuesday, Wednesday's time frame. Very near Florida, is likely a very strong tropical storm in this case. The models disagree on the strength of this, so we're going to get right to that here in just a few minutes. But let's take a look at your forecast. Get that going first. You got to get out the door for one more day of work and school tomorrow. Hope your week has been going off great. It has been a busy one, but a great one for us, okay? We've had some comfortable weather. We've had some very hot weather. We are certainly going to end the week on the hotter side. So over the next 12 hours, we will see those temperatures begin to dip down to the lower 70s. But tomorrow is going to be one of the hottest days we've had so far this year. So much, in fact, that high school football games are moving later. I haven't seen this before, very sporadic, but due to the heat tomorrow, they're going to push the start time back to maybe help it get a little cooler before kickoff. So your wake-up weather, 6:56, sun comes up, expecting a lot of it tomorrow. We'll see low temperatures tonight to fall into the upper 60s to around 70 degrees. And then heading throughout the day tomorrow, lots and lots of sunshine, a beautiful day, but be careful in that heat, whether it's recess, practices, ball games. This is next level kind of heat. We're talking mid to upper 90s. When you factor in the humidity, it will feel warmer than that. So 97 is my forecast high on Friday, 97 again on Saturday. We are bringing the temperature down on Sunday, and we do not stop from there. Monday and beyond, I have the forecast being below normal for a while. Let me show you the 10-day outlook for temperatures. I've plotted on here each calendar date for the next 10 days and whether the temperature will be above or below normal. You see over the next couple of days, I've got 10 degree above normal temperatures both Friday and Saturday. But beginning Monday, temperatures are running some 5 to 10 degrees below normal going into Labor Day weekend. When have we ever been able to say that? All right, let me give you a look at what's going on. The bottom line in the tropics, a Gulf storm is now highly likely. The models are coming to in better agreement that something's going to form. They don't necessarily, just because we have a system doesn't mean it's going to be a monster. They disagree on that. But what I can tell you is the models are coming to a better agreement that something's going to form. So the National Hurricane Center now has a high chance, a 70% or greater chance that that is going to happen within the next week. Florida impacts are possible by Tuesday. That's what we're learning from our computer models. Again, that doesn't tell you what kind of impacts. We're going to fine-tune that forecast. My forecasting is always very transparent. I'm going to tell you what I do know and what I don't know. I don't know how severe those impacts will be for Florida, but I can tell you I do expect impacts by Tuesday if the models are correct right now. Based on the data that I have available to me right now, I can tell you I do expect those impacts by Tuesday. It does look like it's going to move quickly northeast Monday, or I should say Wednesday into Thursday, to where it's back out on over water of the Atlantic, and over warm waters it will likely strengthen as it's pulling away. The models do disagree on the strength as it approaches Florida in the Gulf. Let's talk about it. So the bottom line right now, looking at the tropics, there is a lot of activity going on in and around the Atlantic. We can disregard pretty much all of that. No threats to the United States whatsoever, but closer to home, we do now have a high threat right here. This activity that's in the Caribbean Sea will be pulled northward into the Gulf of Mexico, and that will have a chance at becoming a named tropical system as early as this weekend, but more than likely it'll be Sunday night, Monday, or Tuesday. I've been highlighting this area for the past couple of days. Beginning Monday, started highlighting this area of a trouble spot, and sure enough, it looks like that area is coming to fruition here. We've got that moving northeast bound once it does get there. And again, I've been highlighting this area with the heat energy, the heat fuel in the Caribbean and the Gulf. It's just off the charts. With that said, you can have all the gasoline you want, but if you have a lot of wind shear above you, that can sometimes hinder tropical development, and we may see that at least on the onset. So this doesn't look to grow in intense very quickly, but it does have that potential if those upper level winds slack up enough. We are watching Franklin, of course. It's got 60-mile-an-hour winds now that it's out over open water and not hitting land. It is significantly sheared off to the east. You see the center of circulation, and then that blob of moisture is east. It's kind of disorganized right now, but it is deepening, and it will get its act together and move north and not toward the United States, thanks to our cold front coming our way. Let me show you that, because we've got a couple of things we're watching here. Here's that system beginning to tighten up. You see that circulation getting a little bit tighter there as we go into Monday's time frame. Could have a named storm by then, but it takes on a life form of its own as it goes into Tuesday. And again, it starts moving quickly to the north. So don't be surprised. This could catch up with some of you. Maybe share this with your family and friends, because as we move forward, this is going to be one of those situations where we need to watch it, especially as we go into Tuesday, Wednesday. Looks like it's north of Fort Myers, north of Sarasota, even north of Tampa, somewhere in the Big Bend region. We could have a landfall of a tropical storm on Tuesday night, Wednesday. That would bring very heavy rainfall to Orlando, Tampa, Sarasota, and of course that onshore wind would cause storm surge concerns for Sarasota and Tampa Bay, and that moves up toward the north thereafter to where South Georgia would need to look out for it. My friends in Effingham County, Savannah, Tybee, Hilton Head Island, Charleston could also have some heavy rainfall, but at that point we would be on the calmer side of the system. The worst of the winds would be several hundred miles out to sea, and so would the heavy rainfall. So in this scenario, as it's strengthening once it gets back out over water, right about here, looks like near Brunswick, gets back out over water, so it would start strengthening, but it would be as it's pulling away. So certainly some rough sea, some heavy rainfall, some very windy conditions Tuesday, Wednesday, but by Thursday at current track, this thing's pulling away from us, and that cold front keeps basically most, if not all, that away from us. Now, at the very onset here, we got a cold front that's basically on top of us. So as I pull up and look at that, the cold front's giving us rain, but it's not really related to the tropical system. Could it be aided by that tropical system? Well, let's look. Let's go to Wednesday. Not really. Not really. Most of us are drying out Wednesday. We're going to have a fantastic week. In fact, it starts getting cooler. Remember I showed you that earlier, to where it gets quite a bit cooler going into the latter half of the week. So what about the wind speeds? Why do we need to be so concerned about this? Well, as this moves toward the north, notice how there's some wind starting to form by Tuesday. It gets its act together by Tuesday afternoon, to where it's likely a strong tropical storm. This could be a strong tropical storm or a high-end tropical storm or a low-end Category 1 hurricane, according to this model. Wind gusts could be 70, 80 miles per hour. Storm surge could be impactful but not devastating. But we don't want it to get any stronger than this, and that's the concern, is these things could be poorly handled right now, and some of the models show it being a little stronger, some of them show it being a lot weaker. But in this scenario, you'd have probably a hurricane developing off the coast of the Carolinas on Wednesday, but the good news, again, it's pulling away from Charleston and Myrtle Beach and the Outer Banks. Certainly windy, certainly rainy, but we can handle that. We've been there, done that. As we look at the rainfall totals, again, in that track, in that scenario I showed you there, with a strong tropical storm making landfall in central Florida, you're talking, 2.5, 3 inches of rain because it's moving. If this thing were to go slowly or stall out, it would be worse, but this thing's moving pretty quickly. So it will likely remain a tropical storm as it crosses Florida, Georgia, and back into the water, where it will likely strengthen back up. But even in that scenario, you would have the worst of it being out to sea. So the European model is the one that's the most bullish on that. And you got Franklin here. I'll just kind of show you a wide view of this. Here comes Franklin. Here comes whatever this will be, which could be Idalia or Jose if we don't get it named out here. But here it comes into Florida, and then it's gone shortly thereafter. This model showing a little doodad trying to hang out behind it. Stays weak. I'm watching you. Got a couple little things trying to go on out here, but no threat to the United States. It looks like going into Labor Day and that week, we should calm things down a little bit. There's Franklin going north. The GFS not as bullish. Let's see if we can pull in a little closer here. It's got something. Again, both models have something here. It's just the European's a lot stronger with its estimate on how that will behave. So nothing else really going with that model either. So if you're tracking the names at home with me, do we got any names in the chat right now? We got Idalia would be the next available name. That could happen in the middle of the Atlantic, but right now it looks like the Gulf system may get its act together before, so it'll be a race to see who's Idalia and who's Jose. We'll be watching that very closely as well. So, hey, what can we chat about here on this Thursday evening, almost the weekend here? I want to help answer your questions because I know you have concerns about family and friends that could be along the coast, and I want to let you know we are watching it closely. Jessica, how do I get a job shadow someone like you? That's my dream job, to tell the weather. Oh, Jessica, that's awesome. I tell you what, every day's different. Every day's a new challenge. Yeah, something like that. It's fun. I like wintry forecasting the most. That is my dream. There is forecasting the big snows, for sure. And it is a shameless plug here. If you don't already follow me on YouTube, this would be your invite to please do so. Maybe some of you are watching on YouTube right now, but if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, if you will, please hop on over to YouTube and give me a subscribe. I do in-depth severe weather analysis, kind of long-range forecasting. It's a good spot for it there is we are able to kind of look out into the future. I give seasonal updates, monthly updates, kind of where we stand. What does the next month look like? What does the next season look like? So good place to chat there if you don't already subscribe to me on YouTube. Chris, so you're thinking a high-end tropical storm. Do you see the Gulf system obtaining anything stronger than a low-end Cat 1? Chris, anything is possible in the Gulf with it being this warm right now. I think given the ideal situation, we would need to, that would be possible. But I do see this thing moving quickly, which is a nod to us helping us out, that it would be moving quickly, therefore it wouldn't have a chance to really develop very fast. So that'd be what will help us out. But it'll be a race against time. It's probably going to be increasing as it's moving toward the United States. It's just a matter of it running out of time before it hits land. Randall, thank you for watching on YouTube right now. Appreciate everything you do for us, he says. You are very welcome. Where we are in Cancun and will arrive at home on Tuesday. We worry about our flight. Should we be worried? Tina? No, I would not. I think pilots are pretty good about avoiding tropical storms. When you look at it as a whole, yes, they are big, but usually about the size of a state. They can usually fly around them. Might make for a longer flight for you, and you might have some delays of some sort because it kind of snowballs if they have to go out of the way. But usually they're able to go up and around those things. Buffy, glad we will not be at Fripp Island next week. We're coming home on Saturday. Well, Buffy, certainly glad you'll be home as well. And again, I wouldn't cancel any plans. Folks, I would tell you when it's time to do that. Never fear. I will shoot you straight all along the way if you need to cancel plans. But, hey, if I had plans to go to Myrtle Beach, Charleston, I would not be canceling the plans because you're talking about a fast-moving system that could be over you 12 to 24 hours, and you might be sleeping most of that. So we should know more by the weekend. Chris, absolutely. I think we'll know a lot more tomorrow even. This thing's kind of getting some, I don't say spin, but it's getting some more storm activity around it. So it's bubbling up for sure. Christian, what did I miss? Okay, in a nutshell, you missed it's going to rain Sunday, Monday, Tuesday from a cold front. That cold front is going to bring temperatures way down next week. Unfortunately, it looks like a tropical system's forming in the Gulf. It is likely to hit Florida as a tropical storm, move into Georgia, where we may get a little bit of wind and rain in the Carolinas, but it looks like the worst of it stays out to sea. And then beyond that tropical system into Labor Day weekend looking nice and cooler for us. Any storms near Winder, Georgia? No, not right now. Not right now. Chris, do you have any long-range outlooks for real cool air? I'm ready for that, Chris. You know it. You know we're ready for snow. You're going to be snow chasing, I bet, aren't you? It looks like mid-September we'll get our first kind of cool nights. So we'll be looking for that. Beyond that, I don't really have any clear signals of big-time cool air. Lindsay says she's watching from Charleston, so watching the tropics as they have been waking up lately. Lindsay, well, thank you for watching. If you'll share this with your family and friends, let them know I'm on it. This is a place to be when it comes to big-time forecasts. I try to forecast severe weather all across the Southeast so that I can let you guys know. Because even though you may not be living in the Western Carolinas, those of you do have interest there. You have family that are watching from the all around Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas. Let's see. What's the rain look like for Tuesday? We have a football game at 6, Piedmont, Greenville area. Right now, 6 o'clock could be wet on Tuesday, but that's kind of as it's moving out. So it'll be a race to see. It does look like it's going to be raining a lot of Tuesday, especially in the afternoon. So by the time we get to Tuesday evening, things could be simmering down by then. Jason, you rock, Chris. Jason, thank you so much. Made my day. Marianne, hi. Greenville near Grove Road. Hi. Hope you're doing well, Marianne. Thank you for watching right now. Sure appreciate all of you guys. I love being able to do this. You bet, Heather. All right, guys. Hope you have a good evening. And again, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube. We'll keep this conversation going there. And look for another long-range outlook forecast there as we continue to track hurricane season as it continues to chug along. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you at 11 o'clock on